Okay, SHOT Show 2016 is now a thing of the past, and I am now back home. Now, while I was at SHOT Show, I didn't do any videos. I don't go as an industry guy. I kind of go as just a tourist. So I thought now that I'm back, I would do a quick video that sums up what I thought was the best and worst of SHOT Show 2016. Now, I'll cover what I thought were the 5 worst things I saw at SHOT Show and the 5 best things I saw at SHOT Show, and I'll alternate good to bad as we go down the list so it's not just a bunch of bad, then a bunch of good. So I'll start with the 5th worst and best thing I saw at SHOT Show and work my way up to the very best and the very worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016. Let's start today with the 5th worst thing I saw at SHOT Show. And the 5th worst thing I saw was the Kimber K6S revolver. Now, I know it's going to make a lot of people unhappy because they thought this was going to be a great gun, but it just isn't great, especially not for a $900 MSRP. The build quality is okay, but it's a little bit bulky. It's kind of heavy, and all the beveling on it makes it a little bit weird feeling. It doesn't feel right or look right. The balance is odd on it. It feels pretty top heavy to me. The grips are too small and oddly shaped. They're just not comfortable. The forcing cone looks really weak. If you get a chance to look one of these over, pay attention to that forcing cone. It just doesn't look well made. And like I've said in the past, to me, the biggest advantage of a revolver is its inherent accuracy and the ability to use that light single action hair trigger. This gun kind of loses that. It stages fairly easily, but staging a gun under pressure isn't always a sure thing. So this is, because it's such a disappointment, the 5th worst thing I saw at SHOT Show, the Kimber K6S. Now let's do the 5th best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, and that is the Kimber K6S revolver. Now, I know you're saying, how can it be the best thing and the worst thing? Well, it's one of the worst things I saw because it is in itself a huge disappointment. But it is one of the best things I saw because I am a revolver lover, and I love the fact that a new company is out there making a revolver that hasn't been on the market before. I mean, now Kimber's not a new company, but they are new to the revolver game. And I'm hoping the gun will be successful for them, and it will lead to other things later, innovations on this design. And I hope it leads to other gun makers making more revolvers, because revolvers truly are a great instrument. And I feel a whole generation of people are missing out on one of the best self-defense tools out there simply because they're not hip and cool and a lot of the new companies don't make them. So to me, even though this gun in itself is a little bit of a disappointment, especially at its price point, it's still a good gun, and it's still a good step in a direction towards there being more revolvers available on the market for a new generation. So therefore, it's one of the best things I saw at SHOT Show 2016. The Kimber K6S double action only revolver. Now let's go to the 4th worst thing that I saw at SHOT Show 2016, and that is a high point with an optics package. Yes, that's right, a high point with an optics package. I personally find it almost laughable that they think that someone that's going to buy a high point is going to be concerned about an optics package, much less that they're going to pay more for it. Even if it's as low as like $50, which it isn't, it's more like $150 or so, I still think it's silly to think that these people, the people that buy high points, are going to even want this, much less be willing to pay for it. It's bad enough that they're offering it in camo packages and things like that now. I think that is just kind of silly if you ask me. It's optimistic at best and ridiculous at worst. So this is the 4th worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, a high point with an optics package. And now the 4th best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, and it's not even a gun, it is a drop-in cylinder for Smith & Wesson L-frames from Korth. It turns your .357 Magnum L-frame into a 9mm revolver. And the best part is, it doesn't require moon clips. It has a little retention system inside the star that latches on to the rounds themselves. It kind of springs in and out and holds it by the lip of the automatic round or the semi-automatic round, whichever way you prefer to say it. And therefore, you don't have to use moon clips. And I hate moon clips because I'm horrible at getting the rounds into and out of moon clips. So they're pretty much one use for me because I end up bending them up. So this is awesome. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's amazing. I'm definitely going to be getting one of these to turn my Smith & Wesson L-frame Performance Center into a 9mm pistol that does not require moon clips. And I think that's just awesome. So that's why I think this is the 4th best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, the drop-in 9mm cylinder from Korth for Smith & Wesson L-frame revolvers. Now we get to the 3rd worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, and that is the fact that Kel-Tec is still in business and that they're still making guns in the same old way they used to make them, just as poorly, and people are still buying them. I know people like a bargain, but If it's something you're going to trust your life to, and it feels like it's made out of old recycled Matchbox cars and it's held together with glue and screws, just say no. So the third worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016 is the fact that Kel-Tec is still doing the same old thing they've always done and selling people guns that are, in my opinion, unsafe. Now we go to the third best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, and this one is a real winner in my opinion. This is something I just fell in love with. These are the Wild West Guns breakdown lever action guide guns. Now these are guide or bush length guns that actually break down, much like a Ruger 1022. They're chambered in the popular 45-70 and they're chambered in 457 Magnum, and they are amazing. They go anywhere from a base model that has synthetic stocks up to wooden laminated stocks and all the way up to an incredibly beautiful engraved special edition gun that comes with a red velvet lined case. I mean, these guns are amazing in person. I would love to have one. I would actually let a ferret chew off my left nut on camera to get one of these guns. So that's why this is the third best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, the Wild West Guns breakdown guide guns. And now the second worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016 was that the new Caracals are back on the market. Now, when the salesman there told me that the new Caracals have new features and new performance levels, I asked him, does that include not exploding now when you shoot them? Because those of you that aren't familiar with Caracals, they were all recalled because they had a special little feature that after you fired them a couple times, they would self-disassemble. And they would do this by cracking the slide in half. I guess this feature was designed to make them easier to clean because you could clean half the slide now and half the slide later before you threw them away, but a lot of people thought that was kind of a problem, so they had to recall all their guns. And these new guns, they have some sort of weird sight on the top that only utilizes the front half of the slide, really cutting down your sight radius. Maybe it's a good thing, but to me it just looks ridiculous. It adds a lot of sharp edges that don't need to be there, a lot of snag points that don't need to be there. So the gun doesn't seem like it's gotten any better, just seems like it's the same old with worse sights. So the second worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016 is that Caracal is back on the market. And now the second best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, the new lightweight 357 Magnum 5-inch barreled Magnum Research Desert Eagle. This gun is smaller and lighter than your standard Desert Eagles, and it looks even cooler if you ask me. I've always wanted a 357 Magnum semi-automatic pistol, and I've never been a big fan of the Kunins, so this is finally something that I can have that will satisfy that desire. Now, when I say I can have it, I mean if I save up my pennies, because this gun isn't cheap. It's got an MSRP of over $1,700. So it definitely is a niche gun and an expensive gun, but it's one I want badly. And you know, it's hard to beat the full round 357 Magnum ammo when it comes to performance, and this gun holds 10 rounds of 357 Magnum. It really fills that 357 Magnum semi-automatic slot in my collection, and since it's a combination of aluminum and steel, it's much lighter weight than a regular Desert Eagle, so this is something you could even carry if you wanted to. So that all combined makes this the second best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016, the new lightweight 357 Magnum Desert Eagle. And that brings us to the absolute worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016. And what is that worst thing? Well, it's this little monstrosity right here. The Heiser PKO 45 or Pocket 45. This is a little two-shot Derringer 45 pistol that is one giant heavy chunk of stainless steel, not to mention one of the ugliest and malformed looking things I've ever seen when it comes to a handgun. It isn't comfortable to hold, it isn't comfortable to shoot, and it isn't even comfortable to look at. Now, I'm sure there's a market out there somewhere for these things. Someone's going to love them and someone's going to buy them, but that market ain't me. I can't find one legitimate reason this gun even exists. So for that reason, the very worst thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016 was the Heiser PKO 45, otherwise known as the Heiser Pocket 45 semi-automatic pistol. And now finally, the single best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016. Now, for revolver lovers like myself, this is a wet dream come to life, and it is the Korth Super Sport Competition Revolver. This gun is amazing. If you appreciate a finely made gun, now this isn't a gun for everybody who's going in and looking for a bargain or something that's, great for the money. This is a gun that's just plain great. Everything from the fine craftsmanship used in putting the gun together to the amazingly unbelievable trigger to the diamond coat that they use on this gun. The finish on this gun is flawless. Every other gun at SHOT Show was scratched to hell because it had been handled by a bunch of apes all week. This gun still looked brand new, even though it had been banged around all weekend. That diamond coating they use on the gun is nothing short of amazing. In fact, this gun is nothing short of amazing overall. And when you add the fact that it just looks badass to it also, you've got the best gun I've ever held in my hands in my life. And the people over at Korth are even very considerate to our friends in California. They made a special drop-in cylinder that makes it California legal. Man, it must suck to live in California. So, being the revolver lover that I am, and like I say, having an orgasmic moment the second I picked this up, I have to say that for me, easily the best thing I saw at SHOT Show 2016 was the new Korth Super Sport Competition Revolver. If y'all remember what I said a little bit ago about a ferret and my left nut concerning the lightweight Desert Eagle, well, for this gun, he could have the other one too. He could even take a couple of toes for all I care, because I'm not exaggerating when I say this is probably the finest firearm I've ever held in my hands, and it's the perfect way to end this video about the best and worst of SHOT Show 2016.